Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 31,983, up 7.23%. Ethereum trading at 1977, up 10.27%. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to let you know that everything I do for you is free. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time crypto trader. I've hidden secret crypto tricks and tips and rules throughout this video to share with our dedicated community. See how many you can find. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I'd like to share Rule 775 with you. Listen to everyone and keep your hand in your pocket. Do your own research. In crypto, it's a little bit like the Wild West. Everybody has some kind of really interesting idea. Definitely listen to them, but keep your hand in your pocket and do your research. You'll find that there's a lot of scammers across YouTube. They're everywhere. I spend approximately 2 hours per day plus trying to get rid of them. And they just generate new accounts all the time. So I'm thinking the best way that I can save time, because I want to put that time into making videos for you and answering your questions, is to just give you the heads up on what's happening. When you see a reply from an account that's supposed to be me, this is how my account looks. You can see that's real. That has that gray background. Fake accounts do not. There are no admin accounts associated with my main account. This particular account, if you drill into that, if you click that link, you'll get taken to their profile. If you look on the About page, these are generally generated same day or have been up for a few days. You know that this is episode 140. I can't do 140 episodes in a day. That's just crazy. So you already know from a gut feeling this is wrong. If you click on the home button, you'll see generally they have no content. This is a scammer. This is a fake account. Also, fake accounts are really bad with spelling, and they always try to take you off YouTube, make you go to WhatsApp, Telegram, or give out some phone number for you to call. I will never do any of those things. We have 100% free groups on Facebook, Discord, and Twitter, and you can always message me directly on any of those, or just chat in the comments to other people. The other thing to bear in mind, if you see something like view reply from Crypto Trading KS, that means that I've actually done it. If you just see view reply instead underneath here, you will know that that is a fake account. This is right across YouTube. I hope this helps you. Please let your friends, your family, everybody know about this. We really need to put a stop to it. The best way to do that, just ignore them. Don't worry about them. Just don't fall. Keep your hand in your pocket. I'd like to share Rule 776 with you. Just start. This is a really important life lesson and life rule. Just start. Things can seem so daunting when we first get into something. It's important you don't worry about how daunting it is. Just start. Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th president of the United States from 1901 to 1909. He had a beautiful statement. Do what you can with what you have where you are. You don't have to have $1 million to get into crypto. Whatever you have is good enough. Really, it's all about how you structure your trades, how you do what you do, how you think. Are you buying at the top and selling at the bottom? Do you have an institutional mindset? All of those kind of things, that's what you need to work on. Basically, just do what you can with what you have where you are. I always share as many tricks and tips as I possibly can. I've acquired them over decades. I'm very happy to share them with you. Confucius said, A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. In your trading and investing journey, and always remember, all investors become traders whenever they buy or sell. So it's really, really important to know how to trade, or else you'll buy at the top and sell at the bottom, and you'll get whipped up in a frenzy of fear and emotion. Traders don't do that. They seek to be fearless. Confucius was saying here that you need to just start where you are. It won't be perfect. Yes, you will make mistakes along the way, but that's all part of life and learning. It's all good. Just start is the key. I'd like to take you through possible crypto price action. The KS model is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. This is the real-time price of Bitcoin here. This is the estimated cycle length of the bull market. You can see here that the price of Bitcoin currently is $31,968.74. A couple of people in the community reached out. Lucy reached out, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Is it amateur Sue? I don't know. I probably got that wrong. Apologies if I did. The concept is, how can price reach such high levels? How does it do this blow off top? Certainly, there's too much money coming into the market. It can't be sustained. There's a really, really important thing to understand. There's a difference between price and value. If you have 1 million stocks and, well, 1 million crypto tokens, 1 million quantity, that particular million quantity that you have, say it was bought at 1 cent, for example, if it goes to 2 cents, that is the price of the last transaction that was actually bought. It doesn't mean that the volume or the value in that particular token that you hold just doubled. For example, if you held the majority of the supply, there's a really big difference between price and value. This answer really deserves a whole episode to itself, so I'll put a special episode together. It's really important to understand that crypto is currently trading market cap wise around $1.271 trillion. It is very capable to pull in 10 to 20 to 30 trillion dollars. Now, how is that the case? The answer is that there's just so much money sloshing around the system. 1 year ago, global wealth was $360 trillion. Derivatives, which are contracts on contracts, basically. A derivative is like a future or an option. It represents the underpinning change in value of something else. Derivatives have a notional value, a low-end estimate of nearly $560 trillion. Getting 10 trillion of that into the crypto market is not a problem. A notional value, a high-end estimate, is $1,000 trillion. When people say crypto cannot support these large valuations, I think maybe there's a bit of confusion just how much money is in the actual system. A lot of people think from a retail mindset. Large corporations don't think that way at all. They're completely different. It's also important to understand that internet was growing at an incredible rate, but crypto is growing far in excess of internet adoption. The internet created many trillion-dollar companies. We are sitting as an industry just above the $1.2 trillion mark today, right now. It's absolutely obvious with the ecosystem of 10,900 cryptos that we're going to do really, really well over time. Perhaps the other thing to think of as well, investors with returns can't get any return from a bank. Fixed interest is a really problematic situation. However, returns in the S&P 500 are not bad. They're not bad. Gold, Okay, they're not too bad either year on year, but Bitcoin is one of the best performing asset classes on the planet. Of course, more and more money is going to go across to crypto. It's just inevitable. It could be interesting to note that about 7% of the money supply is physical. 93% is non-physical. That's why if there were ever any runs on banks, they wouldn't be able to put the money up. There's just not enough physical cash to do so. Economies around the world are talking about central bank digital currencies. They have to do them. They have to do them because of this problem. There's so little physical, tangible cash that the financial system is not banked properly. It's because of the way banks generate money. Central banks will need people to have blockchain wallets, digital wallets to hold central bank digital currency, which will be intermediated through banks. If you think about the number of internet users at 2019, that was quite a few million. 3.969 billion users. Now, if we go to today, we've got 4.66 billion internet users. Every single person connected to the internet will actually require a digital wallet. It's just the way of the world. I asked a question. How many years from now do you think digital wallets in advanced economies, people connected to the internet, how long do you think it will take for that to happen? The basic consensus was 5 years plus. Some thought it would be earlier, some thought it would be later, but the average is around 5 years. That's pretty impressive. You think about the growth of that. If you think that there's currently 74.74 million blockchain wallets, and then we compare that across the number of internet users digitally worldwide, 4.66 billion, you can understand why crypto has incredible growth rates associated to it. Lucy asks about black swans. This is a really important topic to consider, and I think it really deserves its own episode as well. Black swans are unexpected events which can dramatically push prices up or down. Many people think that black swans are only negative. That's not true. There are two kinds of black swan events, either positive or negative. A black swan event is where there is a huge downside risk. A positive black swan is just the opposite of that. It's really important. Black swan events can be both positive or negative, but 99% of people say a black swan is negative. That's really the common understanding. With all that in mind, we're basically seeing that crypto is consolidating around this 30,000 low mark that was placed in some time ago. It's just wobbling a bit. Now, we expect the past cycle finished around mid-October. So we would expect a pretty significant ramp up in terms of prices. Price is always moving in a wave, and it's coming up and going down. We would expect it to come up here. This is what I am personally expecting. What actually happens, we'll keep our eye on. But this is an expectation. It will push itself up and then come down and then consolidate and push towards this peak of the bull market. The most likely price action is between $288,000 and $486,000. These numbers may sound a little bit confusing, especially as we're trading at 31,880. But if you look at past cycles, that's absolutely correct. This is the kind of thing that happens. The absolute minimum high that will obey this mathematically protected all-time high from the 2016 halving cycle is $132,418. We would expect that high as an absolute minimum. The important thing to note is that crypto is so volatile. It can whipsaw up and down 80% in a single day. It's not like anything that you may have experienced before in other conventional markets. I've also estimated in that the bear market low between February, where I believe capitulation will occur sometime in February, to April, when it will finish, is between the values of $43,320 and $72,900. I hope that helps a little bit. We've actually been discussing this in episode 138 and 139 as well. It's always important to think institutionally. Peter Lynch was the manager of the best performing mutual fund in the world. He had a lot of rules. They're really good. They resonate very strongly. Far more money has been lost by preparing for corrections or anticipating corrections than has been ever lost in corrections themselves. It's really important you understand that. We'll just deal with it when it comes. Going back to the past cycle, the 2016 halving cycle, around the similar time, what we saw is a spike down in price and then a rally of 60.55%, nearly up to that high. Price recovered, got above that high, came back and tested that high. It's important to understand crypto is incredibly volatile. Because of its volatility, we're always buying the falling knife, which is something you never do in a conventional or traditional market. You do it in crypto, it makes you rich. Let's get into rule 174, T cubed, trend, timing, trigger. The trend episode is this episode. Timing will come later, where we look at the price action, technical action, options, max pain, derivatives, all sorts of crazy things we're going to look at. We're really trying on this channel to put the highest quality possible analysis together. We use rule 1112 to uncover the true trend. When we look at charts and on-chain analytics, we're looking for charts that help us predict trading patterns. There are a lot of charts out there that don't help us predict anything, really. They look fun and complex, but they are fundamentally useless from a timing perspective and a trend perspective. If we look at the number of transfers to exchanges of Bitcoin across all exchanges, when we get to a peak, we see this kind of behavior, a big spike up. Where are we right now? We're right down near the bottom. That's really good. That gives us confidence that we're a long way from the top. Also, we haven't seen any real spiking action. When people are new to crypto, they don't understand how euphoria and capitulation play into this market. They're foundations of this market. To explain that a little bit better, capitulation is this red or pinkish area here. It's where price plummets, where everybody gives up. That's capitulation. Euphoria creates a blow off top, blow off top, blow off top. Some particular cycles after the halving can have 2 euphoric peaks, others 1. But the important thing to note is when we look at this particular top line, this dotted line, we're a long way away from that. We haven't had euphoria. It's critical to understand that. That's something that a lot of people do not understand about crypto. This particular chart may help you understand a bit better. This is Bitcoin net unrealized profit and loss, or NUPL. You can see the blue area here from the last cycle. That blue area there is reliant on euphoria or massive greed. These red areas are capitulation here. They're blow off bottoms. In crypto, we have blow off tops and blow off bottoms. You can see we never got close to euphoria at all. The price is naturally increasing as it goes, and that is to be expected. That's what Bitcoin did. A lot of people say oh, there's no way that Bitcoin can go to $500,000 or beyond. Remember where Bitcoin started? Down here at a couple of cents. 1 cent actually. Think about it. How can something go from 1 cent to $31,871? And how could something go from $31,870 to $1 million over time? It has a fixed supply and it's an apex asset. There's a lot of reasons. It's also the foundation for the internet of value. There's so many things related to Bitcoin. It's not a currency, what most people think when they get into crypto for the first time. Professional traders and investors always deal with probabilities. They leave their emotions at the front door. If we look at Bitcoin realized cap hodl waves, what we're seeing is that the trend, which is your friend, if you go against the trend, you basically get slaughtered in markets. The trend is to have 3 of these peaks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're at 1. We're expecting 2 more. As part of our on-chain analysis, we also look into Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio, SSR oscillator. This basically means when we have an uptick, stablecoins are being converted into Bitcoin. If you're new to this channel, you may not understand the role Bitcoin plays in the crypto market. Bitcoin basically dominates the crypto market to the point that no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, and Bitcoin's fingerprint will play across every single alt. You only have to look at past episodes on the channel to see that. What we see when this goes up like this, we expect prices to go up. It's a leading indicator. When you're in crypto, you may not obey Rule 193, check the stock markets. You might say, I don't want to check the stock markets, they're boring. And they are boring indeed. Crypto moves 5.17 times faster because it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week than stock markets. Crypto has 10 times the volatility of the stock market as well. Absolutely. But you know what? If you don't check the stock market, you will be blindsided. Absolutely. We have to check everything. It's part of the trend analysis process. One really important thing is to understand where economies are inside the global business cycle. The most dominant economy in the world is the US economy. You can see it's just in early stage recovery. What does that mean? It means the money press will keep on printing. Accommodative financial and monetary policies will allow the economy to expand until mid-stage when they can ease off and let the economy run by itself. Then in late stage expansion, it will eventually go into contraction. We've got a long way to go. Things are looking great for us. We also need to track the Delta strain to see what's happening. Coronavirus plays havoc with the markets. Now you can see the now doesn't have really any cases because of the different times in reporting. So from now, we'll use yesterday's cases as the benchmark. There were 553,711 new cases yesterday. We'll keep tracking this number. This is important for us to understand. When the headlines say coronavirus cases are decreasing, we need to assess that in terms of the statistics that we have. Let's keep our eye on this. We look predominantly at the US market because look at this disproportional weighting that it has. All stock market value globally, around 56% of it is in the US economy. I'd like to share Rule 101 with you. News reflects current sentiment. This can be a hard rule to understand. It's deceptively simple, but it's got a lot of complexity behind it. That's why I don't give out a list of all my rules. I just explain them as we go. It makes it real, and the real stuff is what you need. You'll read a lot of news stories about inflation, about interest rates, about gold and silver and indexes and stock markets crashing, and you name it, you're going to read it. That's why we cover all of this off. Let's have a look at the 10-year break-even inflation rate. We can see that it's above, had resistance, turned to support. It's now expanding. I put here positive reasons and negative reasons. I won't go through these at the moment, but I will do so a little bit later on, and they'll make sense. When something is positive in the market, they just pick something out of the green bucket. When it's negative, they pick something out of the red bucket. That's why I say, listen to the news with one ear closed, one eye closed, and half your brain turned off, and you'll make money. Going the other way is not a good idea. Okay, let's look at the 5-year break-even inflation rate. We can see that resistance has been turned to support, and there's an up channel of support. You might notice the price of Bitcoin in the background. I do this because I really want you to have the highest quality information possible. Let's look at the 5-year forward inflation expectation rate. You can see that is under resistance. The expectation is 5 years from now, the inflation rate will be decreasing. Let's have a look at interest rates. Interest rates, you can notice the price of Bitcoin trading here, real-time price. That is under resistance. The 10-year interest rate on the Treasury note is under resistance. All of this will help you to contextualize anything that anybody says. If you would like more data to be displayed here, please let me know. If I'm missing any critical thing, please reach out. I always want to give the community the best possible information. Rule 775, again, listen to everyone, but keep your hand in your pocket and do your own research. When you see economic commentators talking about the stock market, they'll say one thing is up for one reason, and they'll say it's gone down for the same reason 2 days later. It's just unbelievable. Listen to everyone, but don't act on their advice. Get the numbers, put the probabilities in your side, and go from that position. Always do your own research. A lot of people, a lot of economic commentators are saying as the dollar strengthens, Bitcoin will go down. They're saying there's an inverse relationship. I hear it all the time. It's important to see things with no bias. Right at the moment, since January, there's actually been a positive relationship. The dollar and Bitcoin have been moving together. Just really be aware of these things. Okay, let's go through the markets. We have, looking at the NASDAQ 100, we can see prices always moving in a wave. It's coming up and going down. It's coming up and going down. And this long leg up is unsustainable. It doesn't cause any problems for it to come back and test support and then resume. It doesn't have to come all the way back to support. It could come back to that previous high. But it's really important for price action to be healthy. Many commentators were calling for the end of the world when all these red bars were occurring. They said, oh, the pandemic is worse and inflation is increasing. Stimulus is uncertain to what is happening here, and the confidence is decreasing. Today, it's completely the opposite. All of these positive reasons. Oh, vaccinations are increasing, infections are decreasing. We've got stimulus and there won't be any tampering, and there's global growth and demand. It's increasing, and I tell you what, they just literally pick a green or a red bucket to explain the green or the red in the market. Just listen to them with one ear closed and half your brain closed. Okay, let's go to the S&P 500. We see that it's come back to support and taken off, bounced. We can see the Russell 2000 broke underneath this support and then came back. That's actually acting as resistance now. The Dow Jones futures came down, tested support, came down, tested support. It's now getting up to a resistance level. Whatever it is in the market is so unimportant. We just deal with the facts. We can trade and invest in bull, bear, and consolidation phases in crypto. You can make money in any phase of crypto. Okay, let's have a look at Facebook. We can see this upward support line here. It was breached, but price is coming back. I've just included a little bonus for you down here. This is the net income figure of this particular. When you have traded stocks, they have net income. Q1 2021, Facebook had 9.5 billion in net income. It's just interesting. You can see if they're growing in net income or declining in net income. This is Amazon. Amazon came back to test this resistance, once resistance line, turn to support, retest, and resume off. Let's look at Apple. Apple, we can see its net income has actually decreased. Its price has got above this resistance. Let's have a look at Netflix. Netflix was testing that support and it broke down. And what we can see here, net income was 1.7 billion in Q1 2021. In Q2, it's a little bit lower. Let's have a look at Google. Net income is increasing quarter on quarter, as is the price. It's all really driven by earnings and revenue and the dynamics between it, profitability. Let's have a look at Microsoft. Microsoft has been doing very well. We can see Q1 earnings $15.46 billion. Nvidia, we can see, look at this, it's doing well. Q1, 1.46 billion, Q2, 1.91 billion. And it's just getting up to this particular support. Was always price is moving in a wave. It's a wave up and a wave down. People feel that the wave up should continue forever. That's never the case. We don't care about waves coming down. It's just normal price behavior. This is Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Grayscale. Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust, a lot of people were worried about the unlock. I basically said, I don't believe there's much to be worried about. This is a very, very good time to buy shares in Grayscale. We can see Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, its net income from 10 billion in Q4 2020 to 18.74 in Q1 2021. Let's have a look at MicroStrategy. We can see MicroStrategy's actually made a Q1 loss of 110 million, where it had a Q4 net income of 266 million. So the net income has gone negative, and we can see it's broken down. But as the price of Bitcoin has been coming up, these Bitcoin related stocks will do well. Let's have a look at Galaxy Digital, which came up 17% in the past 24 hours. We can see net income increasing. That's always a good sign. Very much these particular crypto related plays will follow the price of Bitcoin. That's why I overlay it so you can see very clearly. If you hold positions in this, it could give you an edge. I'm all about you getting an edge. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla got above this resistance, turned it into support, and it's just consolidating around there. Its net income is increasing. Let's have a look at CoinShares physical Bitcoin. It doesn't have any earnings. Net income down here. We can see it's just starting to break out from that resistance, as we anticipated all along. This is why we do the trend analysis so incredibly extensively. Voyager Digital, net income is down. Okay, that creates weakness in the overall stock. Let's have a look at Purpose Bitcoin ETF, starting to get above that immediate resistance. Square, doing well on this support, a reduction in net income. Net income Q4 2020 was around 294 million. Q1 2021 is 39 million. Let's have a look at Marathon Digital. Marathon Digital gone from a loss, a reduction, negative net income, to 83.36 million. Very favorable. Let's have a look at Coinbase Global. It's only got one net income figure at the moment, 301.9 million. You can see how well it's actually proxying the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin Group, ADE, getting a very big charge up here at nearly 18%. Have a look at the Bitcoin Fund in Canada, exploring the same basic price action as the other funds and ETFs. Okay, ARK Innovation, just seeking to come back to that particular support line, which has now turned to resistance. Let's have a look at ARKW, the next generation ETF. Just broke through that one support and it's turned to resistance and it's making its way back up. Silvergate Capital, growing its net income quarter over quarter, always a good sign, a sign of strength. That's what we want. But of course, some companies are in early stage development, so we don't worry too much about that when that is the particular fingerprint. Silvergate Capital getting over that once resistance and back to support. Hive Blockchain, we can see that that support is still holding. Let's have a look at Riot. Riot, net income increasing, always positive. As Warren Buffett said, it's all about the money flowing into these businesses. If they're making money, the price will go up. Let's have a look at Bitfarms. Still under that particular resistance was once support. Let's have a look at Argo. Argo's done really well. It came up 29.22%. That's pretty impressive. Let's have a look at the defensive sectors. We're always seeking if any particular negative black swan could be potentially impacting the market. Gold tends to do extremely well when there's global volatility. It's an early warning indicator. Gold backing off has tried to retest. So basically gold broke through this resistance, came back to retest, failed, and now is under that resistance. Let's have a look at silver. Silver's been very good recently. It had a lot of power in it, especially recently. It's broken down. It's testing that support. It doesn't look too bad for silver, but we have to keep our eye on it. The VIX, the fear gauge, has dropped off. Let's have a look at the DXY. This is what I was referring to before. When you look at the notional concept that when the dollar goes up, Bitcoin has to come down. Anytime someone tells you has to, just worry about that. The markets are like indicators. When you're turning right, for example, the car is turning right, or the bike, whatever it is, in front of you, your indicators go in sync and out of sync. It's really like that. That's important to understand. We just trade the price, just trade the relationship. We can see as the dollar has gone up, Bitcoin has gone up. As the dollar came down, Bitcoin came down. And the dollar is going up. And now what's happening to Bitcoin? It's consolidating, and it looks to all intents and purposes that it's going up as well. Just beware of mainstream media forcing you to believe something that's not backed up by price action. It's very scary, very dangerous. Let's have a look at the Treasury bond. Again, all about defensiveness. It was rallying, just dropped down, unfortunately. Something that may help. I'm a crypto trader. I trade through bull, bear markets, consolidation without any problem. It's all the same to me. I think it's really important to understand that I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I don't do laser eyes or anything like that. When the markets are going down into bear market territory, I'm just as happy as when they're in bull market territory. I find it's all the same, realistically. When we look at the stock market, it's from a Bitcoin perspective, because this is really critical to know. We need to keep ahead of things. But I just hope that helps to explain a little bit about my position. Let's have a look at the high yield corporate bond ETF. We saw this fairly strong line of support just be broken recently. Now it's turned into resistance, but you've got to close above, so you could call it minor support. Let's have a look at the 10-year Treasury note yield. It's coming back up. It broke the support, retested, resumed downwards. It's coming up again. Let's keep our eye on that. Let's see what happens there. The 30-year Treasury bond yield has been doing much better. It's just almost above the resistance and trying to turn it to support. The transportation ETF, always a good thing to look at, especially if we're concerned about Delta and closures in the economy. That's back above this support line that was once turned into resistance. That's healthy. Let's have a look at the utilities, another defensive play. It came up, hit resistance, and it's backed away. Let's check out the airlines. They've rebounded strongly. Very strong rebound, actually. Let's have a look at Brent. Brent, for various supply issues, basically, OPEC increased crude production by 400,000 barrels a day starting August 21 and did some reallocations. This was basically covering the longs, creating downward price momentum. But the other thing to bear in mind, as the markets come down, all of these indices come down with it. It's just really natural price action. Let's have a look at light crude oil. So broke through that support, hit this secondary level of support, broke through that, and it's come up to retest this resistance, if not pass through it. We'll just keep our eye on it, just a little bit early to tell. I hope you found the content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always contact me directly on Facebook, Twitter, or Discord. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Please prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.